Friday. Today we're talking about jumbo loans, and we're going to start talking about jumbo loans every single Friday. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Jumbo's a party.
It's a party.
Friday's a party.
Friday's a party.
Kicking off the weekend.
Dreaming over the weekend. Okay, so we digress. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, what is a jumbo mortgage? If I spend over 600, is that a jumbo? If I spend over 700,000, is that a jumbo? What is a jumbo?
A jumbo is any mortgage that's $1. $1 over the conforming limit in the county you're shopping in.
Yes, and the conforming loan limits change every single year, and they're never easy.
No, and they always vary. So for example, if you're shopping in California, in Southern California, in Los Angeles, this year, 2021, your loan limit's $822,345
For a single family home.
for a single family home. That's a good loan limit, right?
That's huge.
That's
$822,000 is not considered a jumbo loan in California. You go to $823,000, it's a jumbo loan.
It's jumbo money. If you decide you're going to look a few blocks over, say, in San Bernardino County, the loan limit now is $548 and some change. You go $1 over $548, and you're in jumbo category again in San Bernardino County.
Yeah, and San Bernardino is about 20 minutes away. I grew up down there, which is why I'm always trying to, but 20 minutes, you're like, okay, everything's too expensive. I can't afford it. There's this great house in San Bernardino. It's $600,000. I've been looking at $800,000. I can barely afford it. You go there, you write an offer, then you talk to your lender, and we're like, dude, wait, what? We thought you were shopping in LA. You were qualified for LA.
Right. And here's the problem. This is where the rubber really meets the road with jumbo lending. Jumbo lending has a completely different set of underwriting guidelines and requirements than conforming. Conforming is pretty forgiving.
Very.
We have a lot to work with when working with conforming money. But
we don't need reserves. You don't need reserves.
We don't need reserves. We don't need a certain number of trade line accounts open. We don't have to be restricted into a lower debt to income ratio. We have a lot of different factors that come into play when you go $1 over the conforming loan limit.
Yeah, it can be really staggering too. And then there's some places where it doesn't make sense that the jumbo limit's not higher. So a great example, I think, is Austin, Texas, and Dallas in Texas right now. Both of those are capped at $548,000, $250,000, but we're seeing the markets in those areas explode, and really I think over the next few years we'll see that amount pushed up. So it's super important that when you're shopping, you're talking to your lender about what county. What state helps too, but what state, what county, and if you make any changes, you got to talk to us because we want to make sure that if you are now going to be in a jumbo loan, you qualify because you might not. It's really night and day.
It's night and day. And the other thing that's important to point out about jumbo money, again, $1 over the conforming limit, is that different jumbo investors have really different requirements. So a lot of times your lender has to spend time really analyzing your file and understanding where a weakness may be, so that you're not caught in a real situation once you're in contract.
Well, and one of the reasons we're starting to do more and more jumbo loans, and we're starting to talk about it more, like a year ago, Julie and I would have laughed and been like, just go to a bank. But in the last year, you've really seen lenders such as Guaranteed Rate have a place for it because we, instead of looking at one set of jumbo guidelines, we're looking at 15 to 16. So if you're working like a bank right now and you're like, oh, it's conforming, I'm fine, and then you go a county over and you're suddenly jumbo and they're declining you, it may not be a real decline. You might want to check with us or another lender to see if another set of guidelines would work for you, because that world is not regulated by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's whatever the investor's willing to do, which in most cases is very conservative.
Right, but there is some flexibility. We had a situation this week with a client who got into jumbo money, $1 over.
I mean, it was more than $1, otherwise we would have been like, can you get $1 from your cousin or your aunt? Like,
you get the point.
I feel like you can find that $1, but sometimes people can't.
You get the point. Anyway, our client had a very specific situation. They had spent their entire adult life really focused on saving money and not acquiring debt. And part of their strategy was to not have any credit cards.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this next week. So next week we're going to talk about how sometimes doing what you think is best, if you're looking at a jumbo loan, no matter how rich you are, it will lead you to failure. So tune in next week. We're going to have a link to the county limit. This is Muppet. If you guys didn't notice that there's an animal in my lap, because I'm not really sure how this is filming.
I'm pretty sure
and that could be really awkward if like I'm cut off right here.
Right.
Yeah. So tune in next week and we'll see you then.
See you then.